Sanji's chivalry toward women knows no bounds, even if it's the enemy. During the punk hazard arc, Tashigi is having a difficult time breathing and Virgo is seconds away from finishing her off. Suddenly, out of nowhere, Sanji airwalks his way to her rescue. Given the fact Tashigi is a marine, should he be really assisting her? Moreover, she's Smoker's second in command. Regardless, even if she's the enemy, she's a woman in need. While the rest of his crew members have been captured by Crocodile, Sanji is the only one that's still mobile. The reason being, no Burrow Quirks member has ever seen Sanji. However, Crocodile does recognize his voice while on the transponder snail. He spoke with the cook, back on Little Garden. Sanji gives him the name Mr. Prince. This name is so fitting seeing that it matches his chivalrous personality. These are words Sanji utters while fighting Mr. 2, otherwise known as Bon Clay. Bon Clay has the devil fruit ability to change his appearance. He uses this ability to take advantage of Sanji, by turning into Usopp. Sanji isn't convinced and kicks him anyway. Mr. 2 is enthralled that Sanji would attack one of his close friend, but according to Sanji, he may look like Usopp, but he doesn't have his heart. Zoro and Sanji are one of the first to meet each other, after the 2 years they are apart. Upon them running into each other, Sanji tells Zoro not to go anywhere, since he has a habit of getting lost. He also refers to him as Moss Head, in order to criticize his green hair. The two eventually start arguing like they always do. One would think Zoro and Sanji would move past this rivalry, after 2 years. Sanji's sister, Reiju, wonders how he grew to become so respectable of women. Sanji then reflects when he was a child on the Baratie. He and the rest of the cooks ask Zephyr to hire a female chef. He refuses to do so, seeing that he has a violent method of teaching his employees how to cook. He then tells his employees how they should never hit a woman, under any circumstances. Young Sanji claims Zephyr is a bit of a fool for thinking this way. Zephyr claims not hitting women is something that men knew back in the age of the dinosaurs. When he's done reflecting, Sanji then tells Reiju, that's a tradition from the age of the dinosaurs. During one of the best filler arcs in One Piece, G8, Sanji disguises himself as one of the cooks on the marine base. He somehow gets into a cooking competition with the other cooks. The cooks are given some of the finest and expensive ingredients to cook with. Sanji, however, notices how wasteful the cooks are with their remains. He then uses these remains to make a proper meal. He explains to the other marine chefs when on a ship, one must never waste food. It doesn't matter how expensive the meat is, you should use everything on it, even the bones. Sanji's eldest brother, Ichiji, disrespects the head female chef, by not completely eating his food, criticizing it, and throwing it on the floor. Sanji becomes enraged by his behavior, obviously. The Straw Hat Cook knows what it's like to be deprived of food, seeing that he and Zephyr were stranded for days without it. Sanji calls his brother a brat for being inconsiderate towards the cook. He doesn't know how hard that woman and her staff worked to prepare their meal. Furthermore, he doesn't know how valuable food is since he has never missed a meal. Sanji says this after he uses his infamous flambéed shot against CP9's Giaburo. This quote resonates with many fans because Sanji doesn't just mean this when he fights, he means this while he cooks, as well. Sanji is very passionate about cooking, it gives him a rather holy feeling. When he uses spices, however, it's a bit of a walk on the wild side, hence why he believes they're a gift from the devil.
After being stranded without food for days on end, Sanji vows he will never deny anyone food, even an enemy. Jin, combat commander of the Krieg pirates, is denied food because of his reputation at the Baratie. Jin even offers to pay for the meal. They still tell him no and throw him out. Sanji makes him a meal anyway. At first, the Krieg pirate rebukes the gesture, seeing it as a charity. Sanji basically tells him to swallow his pride. He later laments to Jin that he knows how it feels to be These words hit harder than any other of the quotes on this list. Sanji says this at the end of this very episode where he is first introduced. This introduction of him lets the viewer or reader know what kind of person Sanji is. He does not tolerate disrespect from anyone, regardless of their status. The guy that he says this to is a lieutenant of the Marines who goes by the name Full Body. After feeling disrespected by Sanji, he decides to make a scene by criticizing his meal and later throwing